Hello, YouTube. It looks like one person's already on this stream, so that's kind of weird because I just pressed start. Um, but yeah, I am here streaming me practicing the We Are the Union set. And if you did not know, I play trombone in a band called We Are the Union. And both We Are the Union and Skatune Network will be playing a reunion show for Tip the Van in Hamden, Connecticut at the Space Ballroom. So if you live anywhere in the Northeast, definitely check that out because it's going to be a dope ass lineup. The Copacetics is also opening the show, so it's the Copacetics, Skatune Network, We're the Union, and then Tip the Van. And Reed just made the set list for We Are the Union, so I'm gonna be practicing those songs now because, yeah, why not?
Because
Oh my goodness! All right, I just opened up the feed here so I can like look at my, y'all know if you've been watching these live feeds, and if not, then welcome. All right, cool. Let's practice this set. Oh my goodness! All right, I haven't played that song since the last time we had a show, which was I think in April. No, we played it. We played in August. Never mind. Well, I haven't played that song since August. Also, this is my first time playing trombone since Saturday, Thanksgiving, when I played with Goldfinger. So, oh boy, oh boy. All right. Any hacks for getting the mouthpiece out of a trumpet? Get a mouthpiece remover. Honestly, I mean, you could try like running cold water because cold when things are cold, metal contrast. You could try running cold water or putting ice on it and then trying to do that. But honestly, I would like literally go to a music store and get a mouthpiece puller because you'll probably break your trumpet any other way of doing that. Um, Now I just need to get this man on Spotify so I can listen at work. Well, The music I'm playing right now is on Spotify. And right now I have a record on under Skatune Network on Spotify. Licensing literally makes getting covers on Spotify extremely hard and difficult and expensive. So honestly, it's just not cost effective for me to do that anytime soon. But the more y'all are supporting on Patreon and buying merch, the closer I get to that goal. Oh gosh, okay. The feed just froze. Okay, the feed froze on my computer. The more y'all buy merch and support and listen to what's on Spotify right now, the closer I can get and the quicker I can get to putting my stuff up on Spotify. Because honestly, like, let me look at the stats right now for Skatune Network on Spotify. I have probably like 200,000 people following Skatune Network amongst my platforms, and right now I have 2,698 monthly listeners. So that's literally less than 0.07% of y'all listening to me on Spotify. And to drop literally, to get all of my stuff on Spotify will cost me thousands of dollars, like straight up, just because licensing, which I just can't do that. But even getting like a select stuff up will still like can cost up to $100 on per cover, depending on what's being uploaded. And there's also a lot of logistics, like I'll lose money because I'm getting less views on YouTube to then pay money to put things on Spotify, in which I will not get that money in return because of licensing. All of the revenue or most of it will go towards whoever made the original song. Yeah, it's just literally not cost effective. So once I get to a point where I just don't need YouTube ad revenue at all to sustain myself, that's probably when you'll start seeing me start putting more stuff on Spotify. But I'm trying my hardest to get stuff up as soon as possible. So yeah, stream what's already on there. Yeah, I got 10 really good songs that I covered for Counterintuitive Records that's on Spotify right now. Or just stream my band We Are the Union. We have 4 records on Spotify, as well as multiple EPs. And Self-Care, our latest record, is the one I recorded on. So you got plenty of content to stream right there. All right. Amazing. I don't play the bassoon. Greetings from Brazil. Howdy from Gainesville, Florida. I saw you at the Goldfinger concert. Now I'm going to see you at the Streetlight Manifesto concert. Did you see me with my mom? Wait. Now I'm going to see you at the Streetlight Manifesto concert. I'm not going to a Streetlight Manifesto show anytime soon. Let's see. What other comments are there? I didn't realize it was that complicated. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, people keep telling me to put my stuff on Spotify, and imagine giving that explanation every single time. It's like really annoying. But also, like, I know people don't know, but there's reasons behind it. Let's see. Any other comments? Sorry, the feed on my computer is like really weird. Whenever someone puts a comment, it like yeets me across the chat, so it's hard to come across. I appreciate you, Damien. All right, I'm just going to go on to the next song, which is, on this set, A Better Home, which is the first single and second track? I believe it's the second track off of my band's latest record, Self-Care, We Are the Union. So go stream that and check it out if you have not. And if you have, thank you so much for streaming We Are the Union.
Enough to drown out all my thoughts. Just lately I can't think without panic, chasing me, stare at the ceiling, compounding heartbeats. Lost in a crowd.
My favorite ska band, I would have to say, is probably right now, honestly, favorite ska punk band that's killing it is Kill Lincoln. Kill Lincoln or Catbite or the Bruce Lee Band. Those are like my top 3 right now. Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra is probably number 4 on that list.
But if October goes, can go do on their own, but we can change ourselves, build a better home. What do you do now with your 7 skeletons?
Oh, geez. All right. Okay. Pause that. All right. What is your all-time favorite? What is it? I'm not sure. All-time favorite what? I'm assuming you're saying band because I said my favorite ska bands. But I just want to confirm. If it is all-time favorite band, that's like a hard question for me. When I was like in middle and like early high school, Less Than Jake was my favorite band, and then around like 10th or 11th grade, I started listening to We Are the Union. Ironically, they were my favorite band throughout high school up until when I joined. Um, and so I would have to say that's the most consistent because literally, despite the fact I haven't really listened to We Are the Union much since joining We Are the Union, I just did the Spotify thing, and the top played band of the decade is We Are the Union. Even though like the only time I ever listen to We Are the Union is when I'm like practicing the set pretty much. I don't really play it that much anymore. So the fact that I listened to it so much in high school on Spotify back then, that it's literally, and it's by a large margin, like nothing comes even close to how much I've listened to We're the Union. So I guess that's like kind of the answer. But right now, I guess my favorite, I can't pick favorites. I listen to so much music. Picking one favorite band is like really, really, really hard for me. What's it called? Let's see what other questions are there. Oh, gosh, I was just looking at another question that I meant. Oh, ever heard of Folly? Yes, I've heard of Folly. Of course, I've heard of Folly. I'm gonna be honest. You should get into prog, especially. I mean, honestly, like I listen to some prog rock, but I'm not like super into the genre. It's just and it's just me. There's like I really like hooks and I really like things that are catchy. So like I love like pop music and like music that is very more like pop leaning. I mean I still listen to like a lot of math rock and there's like some prog rock and like technical stuff. And I mean I listen to jazz. So there's like definitely tough technical stuff I listen to. But I had to make the pick for the rest of my life. Like, do I want to gear towards something really like technical and complicated or just like really catchy music? I'm going with really catchy music. I just want to like listen to stuff that's catchy. That makes me want to shake my booty, as some would say. How'd you start your music career? I just started playing with bands. Honestly, my music career kind of just went through being involved with my local DIY scene and started working at a local venue when I was in high school and then making connections through that and booking shows and hitting up people and just networking and playing around and not being a terrible human being because there's a lot of those in the music industry. And yeah, and using social media. People underestimate the power and importance of using social media. Honestly, I feel like if you're a musician or a band and you're not prominently trying to use social media, you have like zero chance of doing anything as a musician or band. And that's just the world we live in. And there's like really nothing wrong with that. It's just like a lot of people are really bad at adapting to times and learning how to do new things. And then suddenly they sound like a boomer because they sound really upset that things are different and they want things to not be different. Well, it's like, well, guess what? It's literally 2020 almost. It's pretty much 2020 at this point. And like, I don't know, like the way music was in the 80s and 90s just isn't like one practical and two not the way things are anymore. So I guess those are the reasons why how my music career started. Anyway, another song from the set.
I will fight the good fight, and I'll fight my own way. I don't need push on my head to make me feel like I will there. Whoa, 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 whoa. And how I choose to keep my peace. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stains on my hands. I don't need bloodstains on my hands. I don't need bloodstains on my
All right, I messed up a lot. That one we don't play live a lot. So, and also it's really hard to hear the trombone in the mix of that song. So I definitely have a lot to work on that song. What's it called? What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Okay, boomer. Never gets old. Social media is ruining the world. I could kind of say that. I feel like a lot of things is ruining the world. Like social media is nothing compared to how capitalism is ruining the world. But I guess social media can be. People who think old bands didn't use social media to get around are just ignorant. Sure, it wasn't Instagram, YouTube, and stuff, but it was magazines, interviews, music videos. Yep, literally, that is so true. Like people think that bands were just like, oh, this band's good, so they're going to be successful. Like there are so many incredible bands that didn't get the success that they needed specifically because they didn't use like the outlets that were popular at the time. Like a great example to me is the Descendants. How does like the Descendants literally shaped all of punk music after the year 1980. And as far as the popular terms, like Green Day wouldn't have existed without the Descendants. Nirvana would have not existed without the Descendants. The Foo Fighters would have not existed without the Descendants. Blink-182, MXPX, Goldfinger, all would have not existed without the Descendants. So like that band straight up just created pop punk really and paved the way. But like no one knows who they are. If you go up to the average person, they don't know who they are. And a huge reason why is because if Milo Goes to College was recorded in an actual like legitimate studio and was put out in like 91 instead of like what 1977, it would have popped off. It would have been like one of the most, if not probably known as the pop punk record of all time. Even though I don't think that's their best record, it obviously is not their best record, but that just really strongly shows how like right place, right time, and reaching people is all important steps on how like a band grows and is successful. So yeah, like literally there are bands right now that aren't using social media and they're really hurting themselves by not being up to date with what's going on now as a band. And I think it's very, very obvious. You can look at bands and their social media presence and marketing and see how well they do as a band. And it's literally like the exact same thing. Let's see. What other comments are there before I go back and fix those parts in that song? How can I get clean ska tone on a Les Paul? I don't know. I personally really don't like Gibson. I prefer the warmth that Fenders have, but yeah, I have no idea. Sorry, I can't help. I want to like maybe get like an Ibanez Tube Screamer and like turn the gain down really low, or like some type of Tube Screamer or overdrive pedal, turn the gain down really low and then like run that. That's what I would do. That's what I used to do whenever I played live, just to have like that. I like that kind of like, even though it's clean, there's that crunch to it a little bit, but that's also like for ska punk. I wouldn't do that for like if I was playing like in a trad ska band or something like that. So it all depends. There's a YouTube channel that I followed that used to talk about pedals, but I can't remember the name. But there's a lot of YouTube channels that do that. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back and work on the ending. Okay, there are two parts of this song I messed up like really badly. It's that part. What's the note there? How does that part go? I think it's just that. No. That's. Nope. I can't hear it. There it is. Okay, cool. Let's try this again. Sweet. All right. I can't remember what other part of the song I messed up on that one, so I'm also not playing this song because there's only one horn part, and we're featuring my friend on trumpet on this song, so I'm gonna skip this one. Oh, geez. All right, cool. Cool. The ska song, the most ska song We Are the Union has ever written.
It's just waking up at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's every bill cloud underneath the compacted spot. Ironically, it's that sinking feeling, the constant uncertainty, burnt out eyes and wonder whys, apathy and dead inside. I'm just trying to explain. Can't escape the way I feel. Why do I keep running away when life gets real? What's wrong with me? It's just waking up 3 in the afternoon. Haunted by your future self, the constant nausea. That you don't like, I'm just trying to explain. Can't escape the way I feel. Why do I keep running away when life is real? What's wrong with me? I'll always be one step behind. Try to protect every step of mine. It's when you realize you'll never get I'm just trying to explain why nothing feels that good to me.
Cool. I'm messing up so much because I haven't played trombone in since Saturday. What's today? Thursday? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, 5 days. I normally play every day, so going more than 2 days without playing, I can feel it in my face. Oh gosh, all right. I found out about the band Streetlight Manifesto because the poster on your wall in your earlier videos. Thank you. Oh, well, sweet. Yeah, Streetlight rips. Actually, the Streetlight flag has been in the background of almost every video I've ever made. When I was in my parents' house, it wasn't. But after I moved out of there not that long after starting this channel, like 10 videos in. So, yeah, it's been in the background, I think, of every video since then. All right. Sorry, I just saw Boomer, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to read that comment. Wish there was more ska in Ohio. I saw you in Cleveland with Real Big Fish and Ballyhoo, but I'd love to see We Are the Union or Kill Lincoln come back. Yeah, I mean, I would love to go to. I have a lot of friends in Ohio because if you know anything about drum corps, I marched with the Bluecoats and they're from Canton. So a lot of my friends are like based out of that Ohio area. I mean, like not everyone who marched was from that area, but you know, I'm gonna mount enough for me to know people from there, and a lot of the alumni are definitely from there because I do know West Meadows as well. I love West. You should come to Alaska. We have snow and absolutely no ska influences. I mean, I'd love to go to Alaska. I've been to pretty much almost every state, and like, I feel like that's one of the few places I can go without getting my passport renewed because I don't have that right now. That would be like cool to go to. Like, hey, it's like doesn't feel like I'm in like America. I mean, it probably does, but like nature-wise, at least, it's probably way different than everything else that the continental United States, quote unquote, has to offer. So cool. I miss practicing for shows. Wouldn't have said that 15 years ago. That's so funny. People hate. I love practicing. People hate practicing though, and I'm like, literally, it's so much fun to just get better. That gouge away cover you did was amazing, by the way. Much props. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was so much fun. Fun fact: I played bass in gouge away before for 2 shows, 2 whole shows. One of them, they called me 3 hours before their set, and the venue was an hour away, and they're like, "Can you play bass for this show?" So I was like, "Yeah." And I like drove. This was like 2014 or so. So it was before they put out any music. They only had like an EP out that you cannot find. I have it on cassette. I have it on cassette somewhere, but you can't find it. And I learned the songs via listening through the cassette and then in the parking lot. And then I was like watching the guitarist the whole time to get all the changes. And then the second time was at Fest, but it was Fest 14, which was in 2015 because Fest is always a year behind. And then if I wasn't marching drum corps, I probably would have done more stuff with them, but they were getting really active at that time. So I was like, I can't. Have you been to Hawaii? No, I have never been to Hawaii. The only states I have not been to are Montana, Hawaii, and Alaska. Those are the only 3 states I haven't been to. I've been to every other state. Not that I've seen much in every other state because it's all been touring. And I've just never been on a tour that took me through Montana because it's kind of just up there. Global warming is ruining it all, though. Come here before it all burns down should be our new ad motto. That's so funny. Yeah. Global warming is a thing that is happening and is terrible. Hey from Texas. Hi from Florida. What's it called? The stars at. Yeah, something like that. Would you ever make a game soundtrack cover? Like, would I ever cover a song from a video game soundtrack? Yeah. I mean, the next cover I'm uploading in 2 days is from Undertale, and the last video game cover I did also is from Undertale. And I've also done I've done 3 Legend of Zelda covers. I've done a Fire Emblem / I guess Super Smash Bros. Melee cover. I've done a lot of covers from video games. I have like a whole video game playlist. I think it's like 20 covers long now, between 15 and 20 covers on that video game playlist. So yeah, I love doing video game covers. They just take more time, and sometimes I don't have time to like sit down and like do a whole video game cover. Hi, I'm a new subscriber. Thank you so much for subscribing and being here. I really appreciate everyone who subscribes and supports this channel. All right. Next song. What is the next song? This one doesn't have a count in. All right, rip me.
For just one fucking day, standing in my shoes, see how it feels, how it feels to be me.
Cool. That one's pretty good. All right. Oh, geez. Oh, my stomach's full of bagels right now. I had 2 bagels like right before doing this, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. All right. Have you ever tried making hip hop and ska? No, I've never like tried, but I mean, I've had ideas. There's like a few hip hop songs that I've had the ideas of covering. I just haven't had gotten around the time to do those. When Interrupter fans started hating on your bad guy cover, is that like a reference to like a earlier comment? Um, anyway, that's like so funny that like that happened because like I don't know. I feel like when people act like music is like a competition because it's like not. And like I don't know, I got a lot of comments on that cover from specifically like from like, do you know the Interrupters did this, right? I'm like, I mean, aside from the fact that they uploaded their cover after mine, which I honestly don't care because like I just straight up don't. It's like a cover and it's not like the end of the world. But like the fact that they did, it's not like they did theirs and it's like, oh drat, now I can't do that. Like I don't know. To me, it's just like really like pathetic that people like say things like that. Like, oh, you know, this person did that. I'm like, okay, yeah, and I don't know. It's just funny. It's just funny that the Interrupters fans did that. I mean, obviously, it's not like every Interrupters fan, but they definitely have a lot of fans that are like that, and yeah, they're like that, and whatever. Um, do you play all the instruments in your videos? Yes, except for drums. Drums are programmed, so they're MIDI. They're no one's playing them because that would make this channel just not possible unless you only want to see a cover like once a month or like once every 2 months. Um, Milo Goes to College came out in 1982. Oh, yes, yes, it came out. I knew it wasn't 19. I feel like 1977 was the year the Descendants formed. I don't know why that number is in my head for the Descendants, but even still, 1982. That's way too early for like the pop punk. Like America just music was not like, didn't have the climate for pop punk to pop off the way that it did in the 90s. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, oh God. Okay, what's happening with these comments right now? Can you do a backflip? Sadly, I cannot. I wish I could do. I would do it if I could do a backflip. You would have saw it in a video by now. Trust me. Is the F trigger a real game changer? I have a basic bitch trombone, but I only play as a hobby with some friends. Is it worth upgrading? I mean, if you want to, like the F trigger really is like a lifesaver for the most part, not having to go out to like far positions. So like if I'm playing C or B natural, which I really can't practically play a low B natural without it. Or like same thing with like F or E. Like you see how much easier and more clear it is instead of going all the way out to that position. Yeah, so I mean, like it depends, but if you're just like playing for fun, especially once you get above like the middle F, like the trigger really isn't like worth anything. So if you're playing a lot of stuff up in the stratosphere or just in the middle range, you probably don't really need an F trigger like that. I just prefer one. Um, is it possible to? Okay, hold on. Whoa. Okay, I just got yeeted across the chat again. What bone do you use? This is a King 608F. Yep, a King 608F. It is a small bore or a small mouthpiece, small shank. That's what I'm looking for. Small shank. Trombone, but it kind of has like a really like deep sound. Like I'm able to get pretty low. Like hold on. This is a 6.5 AL, and this is a Dennis Wick 4BS. This is like my concert classical / warm tone mouthpiece. So like the cup, like this part right here, it's a lot deeper, so I can get like a much darker tone on it. And like it resonates pretty well considering the fact that like it's a small shank trombone. That's like the only small shank trombone I've ever played that resonates like this, which is why I got it. It's like a very well-rounded trombone. I can get really brassy, but I can also like play really high on it and like have a really like orchestral sound. Like if I even put my hand in the bell, like it kind of make it sound like a French horn. So yeah, that's why I have this trombone, and I really like it. But I want to get a jazz, like a pea shooter, real bad because I'm struggling a little too hard for what I'm playing. Are you a fan of Pain / Salvo? Yeah, Pain's pretty cool. I'm not like super into Pain like that, but they're a cool band. When you use the word like about 17 times in 3 sentences. Yeah. That's a thing I do. Jesus, I keep getting yeeted across this chat. You have good chops, sir. Thank you. Another song about the weekend. A day to remember. Ska cover when. When I hear that song, I don't know if I know that song. I feel like I do because I listened to a lot of A Day to Remember when I was like in high school. But do you have a preference between programmed instruments and physical instruments? Is one easier than the other? Well, I mean, if I had it my way, I would have a drum set in my house and 8-channel interface that ran cables into a whole drum microphone setup and was able to play. But I mean, that causes a lot of issues like a lot of noise and a lot of space and equipment that I literally can't afford. So being able to program the drums is significantly easier. Same thing goes for a lot of other things. So programming is pretty cool. It takes a lot of effort to set, like I have to go literally note by note and set the velocity to make it sound as realistic as possible. And doing a lot of manipulation that would not be a problem if I just recorded things. So yes, Gene, I can play drums. Yeah, so yeah, programming is just a lot easier than it is like playing actual. Like I just don't have the resources to even record drums. And like I could go somewhere and record drums and then do everything else in my room. But I mean, I put out a video a week, so doing that every week is just like not feasible. And plus, it's fun. What would you believe is a good way to make DIY music and safer and welcoming? Asking as a DIY organizer. I think the best thing that makes DIY safer and more welcoming definitely is by being outwardly vocal about wanting to be safer and more welcome and opening. Like before every Skatune Network set that I've played, I've made the comment, hey, like if you're in this room and you don't respect people because of their gender or sexuality or race or anything, you're not a fan of Skatune Network and you need to get out, like straight up. And it's like, I'm not being mean towards them because I mean, honestly, if you're a bigot like that, you don't deserve to be treated nicely, but you could just not be a bigot and then everything will be fine and everyone will be happy. So I really don't feel bad for people that choose to be bigots and then they get heat for it. So yeah, being vocal about it and making a conscious effort to like when you like, especially if you're a promoter and you're booking shows, like it's really infuriating when you see bands booking shows and like the lineup is like not diverse at all. And I'm not saying you have to meet a quota. Like obviously there's no quota to diversifying a lineup, but to me it's like I don't even know how you manage to book a show that's like all these white dudes playing because I just straight up can't even think of 10 bands I listen to on the regular that are all white dudes. And like whenever I got Florida's really good about that because like, you know, it's just fine and diverse and nice and shows are cool for the most part. But like I see other lineups and like other like We Are the Union played 350 Fest, and like I think I think We Are the Union and one other band were the only bands that weren't all white dudes. And it's just like, how do you book a lineup with so many options and to me, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make sense, especially with like how diverse and like so many bands have like diverse lineups and have like a lot to say and are doing great things. There's like bands that are doing incredible things. And it's like, to me, I just think it's laziness slash a lot of other complex things going on that make spaces not safe and welcoming to begin with. Like call out the bullshit, whatever's making it not safe. Don't be afraid to call it out. Don't be afraid to like let people in your space know like, hey, this is a thing we don't tolerate. You could probably make zines. You can make zines talking about it and like have them available at shows. That's something I would do if I was booking shows still. Or hit up someone who makes zines, or hit up bands that have like, diverse amounts, like diverse people in it, especially if you're not like a diverse person, and be like, oh, like ask people like how they want to what am I trying to say, what they want to see at shows to make it more welcoming to them, because I feel like that's such an easy thing to do. And it's really upsetting and kind of shame when I go to shows and it's just like not diverse and it's not welcoming and it's like really bad. And I mean, like, I'm really like, this stuff's important to me because Skatune Network has played 4 shows so far, and out of 4 of those shows, three of them had women come up to me and say they got sexually assaulted at my fucking show, and that's really fucking aggravating. So if that's something you do, or if you think that you're not a problem in that, you need to like always recheck yourself, no matter how good you think you are. Always talk to people, communicate. Don't touch people without their consent. Like, sorry, I'm going on a rant, but it's just frustrating how often that stuff happens and how people pretend it doesn't happen. And it's literally a huge issue that's going on a lot. Wow, there are so many comments now after me from before I started that rant and after I ended this rant. How often do you clean spit and stuff out of it? I bathe my horn at least once a month. I literally just fill the tub up with like lukewarm water and throw it in there. As far as like spit, I mean, like, you have spit valves and just do that whenever. I'm pretty hydrated, so it typically fills up a little bit if it's like really humid out. I lost my spot here. Damien, yes, I can play drums. Actually, there's a video somewhere, if you go back far enough, of me playing. I was live streaming and playing drums a while ago. I just can't record drums. Any tips for changing partials faster on baritone? So baritone and trombone are very similar instruments as far as like the pedagogy and air and everything. The best way you can change partials fast is making sure that you're understanding what's making the partials change in the first place, and you're not. A lot of people tend to overwork their face trying to change partials, and doing a lot of work here, like that's not where it comes from. That's when you start getting edginess. I would honestly get a metronome and set it to like a solid tempo and just do lip slurs. And work on that. And that's like a thing that takes time. I've been doing lip slurs for like 4 years now. And a lot of that comes from airspeed, keeping the air that's going from, all right, we're going into brass pedagogy right now. Stay with me. The air that's going from your diaphragm or from your lungs, because your diaphragm pushes the air out, that needs to stay consistent no matter what is happening as it's coming out. Then your aperture, which is the hole in which your mouth is open, that can get smaller or larger, which it getting smaller will speed up the air because there's less space, which means more air has to go out at a faster rate for that same amount of air to come out, because that's how volume and physics works. And opening up makes it slower. When it gets slower, you get lower in pitch. When it gets faster, you get higher in pitch, or something like that. But the air going from your diaphragm to your mouth, that needs to stay consistent no matter what. When you start getting gaps in that, that's when you start getting problems with pitch, problems with intonation, and problems changing, changing partials. So if you're going from like F to B flat, if your air isn't consistent, you start getting things like that happening. So I'll definitely work on a lot of breathing stuff. You can just even do like 4 counts breathing in and breathing out. You can extend that to 8 count, 16. And that feeling of your diaphragm pushing, that feeling needs to stay consistent as you're playing. Sorry, that's a lot of pedagogy. That's stuff I work with students for like years that I just explained in like a few minutes. But hopefully it makes some sort of sense that'll help you get better at that. All right. I guess I'll answer like another question or two, then I'll start getting through this set because I've been talking for a while now. Best instrument to start playing. Honestly, I really don't believe there is an instrument that is easier or harder, really. So I guess it just depends on whatever you want to play and play it. But the one thing I will say, if you have not started playing violin by the time you're 8, you're probably never going to have a chance of being good at that instrument because that's just straight up it's like violin, everything else. That's how instruments as far as difficulty goes. I just wanted to say you're cool. Shared your cooking video with some vegan friends. And thank you so much. Sorry, I read the rest of it in my mind, but thank you so much. Any plans to cover I Don't Want to Be an Asshole Anymore by the Menzingers? I've thought about that specific song because it's really, really catchy. So maybe. Thoughts on impeachment and removal? I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about Trump. Dude has like a year left in office. He's already, I don't know. To me, it's just like, oh God. Yeah, like it's happening now after he's done 3 years of things. Like this could have happened like 2.5 years ago. But then it also brings up like, okay, I'm not even gonna get into this. All right, I'm just gonna start the next song.
I'll call it dead. I'm not coming in
Beginner bass tips. Learn your scales.
ever again. I hate this place. It feels more like a prison every day. Think I was born to disobey my brain. I'll call it dead.
Sorry. So this song, I wrote the trombone part for it. We also haven't played the song in like a year. So I'm trying to remember. Bear with me.
Our royals in the kingdom of my brain. Think I was born to misbehave today. We all want to pretend we're better in the end. We all want to pretend. We all want to pretend we're better in the end. Are more than just dead weights. Today.
Cool. I mostly remember that song. I feel like it'll be fine. I feel like it'll be fine. This stream pretty horny, not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, there's some horns in it. Any advice on singing while playing guitar and offbeat like a fast ska punk song? I keep fucking that up. Um, Practice with the metronome. That's something that will literally fix anything. Find the tempo of the song and get the metronome. And I don't know, when I play like, all right, let me pick up the guitar real quick. When I play ska guitar, I feel like a lot of people, which to me makes no sense, I feel like a lot of people try to focus on like the upbeats, like emphasizing the upbeats, like where they land. And like I'm doing the opposite. I'm thinking about the downbeat that's the ghost note because like trying to get in time with an upbeat is kind of impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, it's just really, really hard. So like I would just first off try to get this in time. And then all you're doing is like you're pressing down on the upbeats. But like this needs to stay in time. Or also you can just slow the song down a little bit. I think the biggest problem bands have, especially in the ska genre, is their songs are always 5 to 20 clicks too fast. And there's a lot of bands. Now there are some bands that if you slow it down, it just sounds like it's dragging on. But like I feel like a lot of the problem I hear with bands is like it just needs to be like 5, 10 clicks slower and it'll groove and sit in the pocket. And to me, being in the pocket is the most important thing as a musician. There's a lot of covers I've done that are too fast. And I'm like, oh my goodness, and then people comment like, put it at 1.25 speed and it sounds great. And I'm like, are y'all serious? Like, it's already like 5 clicks too fast out of the groove. And it sounds kind of anxious. So, but I mean, that's just me. I like things that groove over all else. And ska is a genre that's so rhythmically heavy. Grooving's important. I hope that made sense, what I was just saying. Respecting people in general has always been a problem. I've seen it at rock venues, though, and higher energy shows. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. Left the scene because people don't know how to keep their mouths or hands in check. Yeah, it really sucks that, like, I don't know, respecting people, especially, I don't know, to me, if you're in a space that's like punk rock, especially because punk rock was created as a way to not be the status quo, because the status quo is bullshit. So like when you create a punk space, it's like I want to create a space that's better than that because all these jocks just care about like, being a terrible person and like not making spaces safe for everybody. So I don't understand the point of being in a punk space, but then like you say things that's like, are you a punk or are you a jock? It's like, are you like I don't understand. If you're just gonna act like the status quo, I mean, I know why. Punks literally just want to do it for the fashion or so whatever, but like, I don't know. To me, like, practice what you preach. Don't talk about being punk. Don't talk about making things better if you're not, if you're just being as bad as the status quo and as bad as the average person. So like, is at least society-wise, So that's just my take. Are you straight edge? Yes, I do not smoke or drink or do that. Get intoxicated. Do you circle breathe while you're playing your brass instrument? No, the circular breathing is like a thing I can kind of do. It's like really hard to do. I feel like if I worked on it more, I can get it to where it's like decent. But like every time I do that, it just sounds really bad. But I can keep the pitch going technically. So like, yeah, to me, it's like, I don't know, circular breathing is not practical. It's just like a cool thing to do, but it's really not a practical thing to do. And it's like, I don't know, if I could put hours and hours into learning how to circular breathe, or I could put hours and hours into getting better at things that are practical and not do that. And that's what I do. Want to stop by, listen to your buddy video, Holly video all the time. Thank you so much for that comment. All right. Next song. Oh, this is a cover we're doing. That's so funny because we're playing a whole set of Skatune that's covers, and then we're doing a ska cover in the We Are the Union set. All right. I don't remember the horn parts I wrote for this because the last time we played this cover, I believe was Fest 16. So if not, I think it was before that. we'll see.
I declare I don't care no more. I'm burning up and I'm growing bored. My throats are boring. My hair is shaggy in my eyes. Dragging my feet to hit the streets tonight. Travel along the shit towers. He's raised on me, and now I'm feeling like a soggy dream. So close to drowning, but I don't. Sounds okay. So my emotions in the grave. How to leave them anywhere.
Something like that. All right, that's what I'm gonna work on later because I mean I feel like I have it mostly figured out. It'll be fine. It's like 2 parts.
Every word from you, everything is a gift left unwrapped by me. My soul's in silence, but my mouth's on shut. I'm the bud who forgot to open up. I could blame music, blame mood, but the truth is my circuits overload.
Maybe a reverse cover of Big D and the Kids Table or something. Maybe. But I don't do ska covers of already ska bands, so. Although I did recently transcribe. Okay, How It Goes is like, not the record, but the song How It Goes. It's like one of my favorite things ever written. It's so good. And that trumpet solo is like, in my opinion, the best trumpet solo in ska. It's so like, it just goes, it's so smooth. That's what it is. It's so smooth. And you can tell there's a lot of attention with every note. I don't know. It's just so good. Such a great solo. I transcribed that though. I can play that on trumpet.
Gets me down in endless television on a permanent vacation all alone. I hold the Triple Crown. Monday, every reason why the birds might sing in my eyes was a mystery. On Tuesday I sang so loud that I couldn't calm down. Like my wings never felt.
Oh, I'm just saying this Canada comment. The only ska band I really know from Canada is like the Planet Smashers. I can't think of any. I know the singer of Pup used to play in a really, really good ska band. The name is so bad, but it's Stop, Drop, and Skank. But oh my lord, that band was so good.
I'm going surfing on the waves of depression. I'm gonna ride like I don't know how to swim. I don't need no more, won't see me no more, 'cause I don't care if I get back to shore. I'm going surfing on the waves of depression. I wanna try but don't know how to begin. I don't need no more, won't see me no more, 'cause I don't care if I get back to shore. I'm going surfing on the waves of depression. I'm gonna ride ride like that on the swim. I don't need no one to see me no more, 'cause I don't care if I get back to shore. I'm going surfing on the waves of depression. I wanna try but don't know how to begin. I don't need no one to see me no more, 'cause I don't care if I get back to shore.
Something like that. The solo I always get fine live. I just always overthink it when I'm practicing. What's it called? Flatliners. Yeah, Flatliners used to be a ska band, and then they stopped being a ska band. Ever heard of the Afterbeat? I have not heard of the Afterbeat. Oh gosh. Oh, so much bagel coming up. All right, this next song I don't play on as well because there's no horn part in it, so I'm just gonna skip to the next song. Something like that. I always mess up that middle part. Something like that. Cool. It's that F to D flat. Love We're the Union. Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate that. I always wonder how many people like listen to Skatune Network or watch Skatune Network and don't know that I play trombone in We're the Union now. I mean, I've been playing trombone in We're the Union since this channel started. So, what's it called? Where is the show? The show is in Hamden, Connecticut. At the Space Ballroom. That's the name of that venue. And Yeah, so it's Tip the Van. It's a reunion show for them, and then it's We Are the Union, and then Skatune Network, and then the Copacetics. It's gonna be a super dope show on December 21st. John Cusack is the last song on this set, so that's the one I'm practicing next. Yeah. My chops feel kind of good. Considering I have not played trombone in 5 days, my chops feel pretty good. That being said, I might as well start this song. Whoa, I've never messed up the beginning of that song. I can't remember how to play it. There it is. Cool, there it is. Are you gonna play the song?
I was so young and stupid, man. Between my hands, these days everything reminds me of the times that I regret. Wish I could forget the past. Wish I could. I would never lie to you. Know that you don't feel the same way I do. I guess you would kill to call me, or pretend to even care. Draw myself in the new scene. Draw myself in the new scene. This is me moving on without you. This is the last time I'll be there. I know that you never loved me. I know that you never loved me. I would never lie to you. I would never lie to you. Know that you don't feel the same way I do. Every time I think about you, I think about how I am nothing. And every time I think about you, I think about how I am nothing. And every time I think about you, I think about how I am nothing. And every time I think about you, I think about how I am nothing.
Oh gosh. Hey, I hit every high D flat. Oh gosh. Yo, I wish MU330 was active. I discovered Skatune Network first, but when I saw some plugs for We Are the Union, I quickly unspurred MU330 for my favorite ska band. MU330 is so good. I wish they were still doing stuff. Dan P is awesome. Honestly, everyone involved with the Bruce Lee bands, like Mike Park, Dan P, Kevin Higuchi, Jeff Rosenstock. Sorry, I thought I heard something weird. But all those people are really cool. And I think my cat is. What is that sound? Sorry, I'm hearing a weird sound. I might die, y'all. Either one of my roommates came home and they're doing something, or my cat is doing something, is possessed, or exorcist. I don't know. Something's going down. I'm about to die. It was nice knowing y'all. Anyway, yeah, I'll me 3:30. Okay, yeah, someone is home. All right. Hello, Sarah. Uh, I'm glad I'm not about to die or something. Oh gosh, whew, I'm sweaty. All right. Can we get some recommendations for lesser known ska artists? Why, yes, you can. So, if you go into the description of every single one of my videos, at least since I've made the Spotify playlist, which I made about 2 years ago, so pretty much every single video, you'll see a link to a Spotify playlist that is called Skatune Network Inspirations. And that playlist is just a lot of really, really good bands that I think go under the radar, or a lot of really good ska songs that go under the radar. And yeah, it's a really good ska playlist. A lot of stuff. I don't know. My gripe with ska playlists, especially on Spotify, is whenever I look at them, it's like all of them have the same bands. It's always like Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, Goldfinger. I don't know. All these bands that are like really big, and it's like, okay, cool. I'm glad that like people are recognizing that they're good. But at the same time, if someone's trying to find new ska, you literally just can't, because like if you don't already know the bands to look up, they don't come up in anything. So that's why I made this playlist. It's like literally the only ska playlist that doesn't have all of the big name bands in it. That, and like honestly, all of these smaller bands really influenced me and inspire me to make ska more. Like the first few bands on the playlist are the Bruce Lee Band, SMN, Catbite, Jeff Rosenstock. Even though like he has like a few ska songs, but he has always been influential in ska. Um, Grimluck, Thirsty Guys, ASOB, Arrogant Sons of Bitches, which is Jeff Rosenstock's old ska band. Kill Lincoln, We're the Union, which is my band that I've been practicing for, is in there. Omnigon, Abracadabra, The Abrupters, Aura Ska Band, The Best of the Worst, The Agrolites, Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra, Gray Matter. The list just keeps going on and on. So like, if you don't remember those bands, you can always go into the description of like all of my videos, in which I have the Skatune Network Inspiration playlist, all mapped out and ready for y'all to find a bunch of new ska bands that are very underappreciated. Oh my goodness, why is this at like 2p? I like just opened it on my desktop, and like the quality is so low. I am so sorry. Um, what's it called? Chris Murray is pretty cool. I like his full band stuff. I remember seeing him a lot when I was younger, because he used to open for Streetlight like all the time, and that stuff was kind of like whatever when it was acoustic. I feel like he really gets the justice that his songwriting deserves when it's okay. Why is this quality so bad? Are y'all seeing this really bad quality, or is that just my computer specifically? It's messing up, and I don't even know if y'all can like hear me or what this sounds like. What does this sound like? I don't even know if y'all can like hear. Okay, y'all can hear me, so I guess that's cool. But anyway, sorry, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why it's doing that. Probably like internet connection or something. Anyway. Wow, Brazil. We're really excited about Brazil. That is the place. um, Listen to the Interrupters. Not really. The Interrupters never really interested me as much as a band, and then finding out that like Amy Interrupter used to write like go on Infowars and stuff didn't really justify how much I like that band. In fact, it did the exact opposite. But whatever. You can just look up that more if you want to. Is it connecting? Okay, okay. I think we're back. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool. Yeah, now I'm just using data. Whatever. Um, yeah, I guess my Wi-Fi is being all weird. I don't know. Like I'm watching it on my computer though, so I don't think it's the. I think it just might be my phone connecting to the Wi-Fi. I just turned the Wi-Fi off on my phone, so now it's just going through my data. Whatever. Um, what was I talking about? I forgot what I was even talking about before. All right. Did you ever listen to Rancid? Yeah, I used to listen to Rancid in high school. I actually have like an old vest that has like this Rancid patch on the back, but I like got this floral design and like, cut out the Rancid design and put it on there. And it was just so sick. And I'm pretty sure no one else on earth who has ever done something like that for like a Rancid design. And the quality is really bad again. Um, Chris Murray was not the last thing I was talking about. Because I remember talking about the Chris Murray Then after Chris Murray was the Interrupters. Then after the Interrupters was something else. I think I was just talking about how bad the quality is. Why is it doing that? All right, whatever. Um, okay. Okay, I don't know why my connection's like that. Can y'all see? Is everything good? All right. I keep seeing it. Yeah, it's getting spotty. And now it's fine again. I don't know what's going on. Maybe like maybe like a or asteroid just like crashed into the earth somewhere and like we all don't know it, but we're all about to die, an impending doom or something. And that's why the internet's going out. That's what I think all the time. I'm like, yo, what if the world's ending somewhere and we don't know? Like, what if like a super volcano just went off and everything's about to get real fucked and we don't even know it? We're just chilling, but like halfway across the world, like chaos is going down. And we're like, it hasn't even hit the internet yet. Like, there's a high possibility that's happening right now as I'm saying this. So, or just not. I don't think it's happening. All right. I love listening to you, but it's 2 a.m. and tomorrow is school. So, are you like in the UK? I'm assuming you're in the UK. That's the only way it can be 2 a.m. It's like 8 p.m. here. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Yeah, the UK is like 7 hours. Uh, do you like any progressive music? King, I was talking about this earlier. I don't listen to a lot of prog type stuff. I I just don't. What's it called? I was saying someone asked me earlier about that, and I was like, I mean, I listen to like a little bit of prog stuff, and I listen to like math rock and like other technical stuff, but I just personally prefer music that's catchy and has good hooks over anything else. So, um, I need water, but there's no water in here. Probably gonna end this feed soon. I mean, I finished practicing the set, so and the number is like very steadily declining of the amount of people that are um watching. The best songs by Blink 182. Um, I don't know. Blink 182 was a band that I used to listen to a lot and in high school, and I just don't like at all anymore, really. I don't know. I can't even answer that one honestly. I remember Adam's song slapping really hard. Um, and I guess I'm just gonna go with Adam's song because like that's the one that comes to my mind when I think of like really good Blink 182 songs. So remember I used to love that one when I was in high school. You're playing with Tip the Van on the 21st. Have you met them or seen them play before? No, I have not met them nor seen them play before. 30 people. It's like an underground show. It's so good. That's so funny. It really is. Um, what's something about you people wouldn't expect? Something about me people would not expect. Ooh, that's a good question. Trying to think of a fact about me that people would not expect. I'll get back to you on that one if I think about it during the thread. Gosh, I want to think of something good. Also, I feel like you can just look at my room and expect a lot of things that I'm thinking of. So I don't know. Any good stories hanging with classic ska bands? Not that I can think of. Most of the bands are like pretty chill. I know like Aaron Barrett is like super super chill. Um, you listen to his music and it's all like super wacky and like really like I don't know a lot. I guess is a good way to put it. But then hang out with him, he's like really quiet and like calm and like chill. So it's like I feel like that's like not like a crazy story or anything like that. It's just like funny when I meet him or you meet him, you're like, oh, you're just like really chill. Um, Favorite meme of this year? Whoa, that's a question. Oh my goodness. I really liked the honestly that meme that's going right now that's just like are you in the right headspace for the news I'm about to tell you? That meme's pretty good. I like that meme a lot. Um what's another meme that's really good for I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna Google 2019 memes because I feel like there's just so many memes now. I don't even know what's going on. Or like, oh, the I'm about to head out meme, the SpongeBob one. That one's really good too. Oh my gosh. All right. All right. Just googling 2019 memes is a lot. Um, the lunch table memes I like that one too. That one was really good. Oh god, I can't believe I just googled 2019 memes. Yo, the feral hogs meme was so good. All right. Gosh. Oh my gosh, Bird Box came out this year. It feels like that movie came out so long ago. Wow, this has been a long year. I don't know about y'all, but this year feels like it's been dragging out so long. Oh gosh. Oh jeez. I'm looking at some of these memes I don't even recognize. Oh gosh, there's just too many. All right. Anyway. All right. I guess that's where I'm doing. What can we do about climate change? Well, you can always find a billionaire and kill them. um, oh gosh, YouTube about to suspend my account over that one. All right. What's it called? I mean, as an individual, you can like lower your carbon footprint, but as long as like billionaires are continuing being billionaires and making the sacrifice of the Earth state to be billionaires, there's literally not much we can do about climate change on that regard. It's like, yeah, we can ban plastic straws, but the fishing industry is responsible for over half the plastic in the oceans, and less than 0.1% of the plastic in the oceans are plastic straws. So, like, no matter what you do, even if we ban all plastic straws, we're still gonna have so much plastic in the ocean where it doesn't even make a dent. So it's like one of those things. It's like literally billionaires and corporations destroying the world is like we need to get rid of them, and then we will start fixing climate change. So, and I mean, I feel like if we had the option of changing the system in which it's more eco-friendly that doesn't destroy us all, we are running out of time desperately to do that. And the more time we lose to do that, the more unlikely it even becomes an option. And yeah, 15 years ago that was probably an option, but right now we're kind of sitting in a position where like we already lost the chances to do a lot of that type of stuff, and we're not going to see. Oh, okay. So the Mr. Beast is planting 20 million trees. So there's a YouTube channel I follow called Atlas Pro, and 20 million trees is literally not a lot of trees. It's just straight up isn't. Like if when you look at the number of it, like he literally just uploaded a video on this yesterday. Go check it out, Atlas Pro, because he was talking about like a company that's like planting 20 million trees, and is that a lot of trees? And literally they said they're planting them like I think with 8 feet away from each other per tree. And if you do the math on that, that's like enough forest to cover like all of the Bronx in New York City, which yeah is a lot of land, but at the same time when you're thinking about the mass deforestation that's going around the world, 20 million trees is nothing. And I don't know if that should scare you into realizing how much deforestation is going on, or how little amount of space in trees 20 million trees is. Like, just think about the fact that all of the United States used to be a giant forest and we've destroyed like all of it. Now, think about 20 million trees covering only the Bronx in New York City. Now, think about how many trees we have destroyed across the entire United States, or like across all of Europe or the world for colonization. So, 20 million trees is not a lot. And also, depending on how you plant the trees, depends. Like, if it's all one type of tree, then that doesn't add a lot of biodiversity and there's not a lot of productivity that goes on. People think planting trees is like just the solution. Like, let's just plant trees. But, like, you can also do more harm planting trees than good. Like, if it's not the right type of trees, or if it's an invasive tree that just kills all other lives in that area. So yeah, there's a lot going. Like, just don't think just because people are planting trees means we're good. Like it's literally not. There's so much more that goes into it. Um, what's it called? Just have a beer and watch the ship sink. I don't vibe with that. I can't just watch the ship sink. It's really sad. I can't just like I don't know. I feel like I guess I'm just not a person that can like sit here and like watch corporations destroy this world that has been forming for millions of years. Like the Amazon rainforest has been alive and fine for like over 100 million years, and less than 100 years of humans doing what we're doing is about to destroy what one took over 100 million years to form, and two, the earth will never be in a position to produce another rainforest ever again. The rainforests are left over from the Eocene epoch, which is a period in Earth's history in which everything was tropical, and the rainforests you see that are left are the only they basically created their own biomes. And okay, so there's this thing called evapotranspiration, right? That's whenever a tree has water in it. Yeah, you didn't expect this feat to go into science, did you? Evapotranspiration. And that's when trees give off 97% of the water inside of them as evaporation. So think about the trillions, literally trillions of trees in the rainforest giving off 97% of their water that goes into the atmosphere, and about 70% of that comes back down. That's why rainforests exist, because they're creating their own rainforest. If we chop that down, the rainforest is gone. You can replant the trees, but that much water will not be in that area, and it will just become a forest or even a grassland. So, and also all of the soil contents would lose all of its like, soil content that makes a rainforest really, diverse and great soil for the rainforest to exist. And yeah, it'll just be gone forever. And yeah, I forgot why I was even saying all that. Oh, now I remember what I was saying all that. Something about the fact that humans are destroying what took nature hundreds of million years to create. And I don't know. To me, it's like that's really sad. It's like honestly, like 100 million years from now, the Earth might not even be in a position to like I don't know, do that again. It just won't be. And I don't know. I just can't sit back and like not worry about it because it's just so stressful. Um, how did you get so smart? How did I get so smart? Um, how did I get so smart? I read. I watch documentaries. Um, I look things up. I enjoyed being in college and learning. I didn't just learn these things to pass classes. I I learned things to like, gain knowledge and broaden my horizons and not be ignorant to the world. I chose classes like what's it called? Like earth sciences and like earth science related classes so I can learn about this stuff and be knowledgeable because like we kind of have an environment that we need to protect. So I took like environmental science and things related to that and did more. You lack the knowledge of moisture in the rainforests in the Pacific Northwest. All right. Do you want to know about rainforests in the Pacific Northwest? Here's what happens. You have ocean currents that run from like Antarctica and they run all the way up the Americas because the earth is spinning and you have colder water in the south and as it gets to the equator it warms up and then the water literally since it's warmer it rises and then it creates currents and things like that. That's very simplifying it, but that's literally how currents are created. So with that, you also have evaporation coming up because as the warmer water rises and the water gets warmer, you have evaporation that comes up and then it goes up along the what's it called? The border of the United States. It goes all the way up along there. And then once all that moisture gets up there, it wants to start going over land because it has nowhere else to go. Because Canada does that thing that goes like that. Alaska's up here, and then Seattle's here. And that moisture wants to go, but there's mountains there. So the moisture can't get over the mountains. So it builds up, collects, and then it rains. That's why there are rainforests in Seattle. And don't say that I don't know this information because I literally studied this and wrote papers on it. And I do know this information. Also, I know the United States was not covered in trees. We had grasslands throughout the entire Midwest. But that doesn't negate the fact that there are several forests, especially like one of the biggest forests on Earth, one of the top five biggest forests on Earth covered the entire North American continent, and now most of that forest is gone. And the only remaining parts of it are now in Canada because we've literally just completely destroyed all of them. And fragmenting forests into smaller chunks, which is what you see throughout a lot of the United States, that hurts the overall ecosystem of like, nature because you can't fragment forests because that messes up things with like hunting patterns, that messes up things with like I'm sorry, I'm roasting you, dude, but like stop saying bullshit on my feed. All right. Cool, we're talking about the environment. Heck yeah, because we need to protect the environment. Skatune Network is here for protecting the environment. Wanted to meet you so bad last week when you played for Goldfinger, but you were busy and hopefully next time you're up here. Yes. That show was so busy between playing with all the bands and also I originally went to that show to film it. And so yeah, I was just super, super, super busy with that show. So hopefully Scouts and Artists has to do an actual tour and like play shows around so people can I'm not super busy at those shows. Oh gosh. I think I roasted Savage Manatee Design off the face of my channel. Well, I had to do it. I had to do it to him. This sounds redundant, but why is eating fish bad since the only fish farmed in America are available and are available in large quantities in the wild? Also, recommendations on vegan proteins. All right, so the reason why fishing is really bad for the environment, in general is because the way mass fishing, there's two ways you have fishing. You have factory fishing, like factory farms, but for fish, which isn't super good for a lot of reasons. It's like bad for the environment. And then you have mass fishing, like in the ocean. And those nets can stretch out up like miles long. And people don't know that. But like, first off, the pollution would, those nets like break into pieces and stuff like that. There's a lot of pollution that is lost in the ocean because of that. But not only that, just imagine like, I don't know, imagine a net that's like 10 miles long and the amount of fish getting caught in that aren't the fish. Like they could be fishing specifically for, I don't know, tuna or trout or whatever. And I mean, trout are like river fish, so they're not in the ocean. But like, you know what I mean? They're fishing for like fish that are in the ocean, and then a whale can get caught in it. Turtles can get caught in it. Like straight up, like these are actual animals and marine animals that get caught in these nets, and there's literally no way to, like, the only other ways is to catch that many fish is increasing the amount of cost to catch them in the first place. And I don't know, I mean, these companies don't care about being ethical, they don't care about the environment, they just care about profit. And the best way to care about profit is, if like 400 different species of fish that we're not fishing for get caught in these nets, who cares? We just sell them off to somewhere else that doesn't care, or we just dump the carcasses back in the ocean, and then they rot, and then that starts to mess up the acid levels in the ocean, and it's just a huge thing. So yeah, it's literally the fishing industry is there's just no way the fishing industry can be ethical in that way. Not only ethical, but like environmentally friendly, especially for the amount of fish we produce and have to fish in order to do that. What's it called? You are the one saying bullshit, but we can't have a discussion in this manner. I mean, like, okay, okay, my guy. I mean, I explained literally the science behind all this stuff, and you just ignored everything I explained about how you're wrong. So whatever. I like to go mostly meatless, but I would feel bad about fishing my own fish and eating them. I mean, if you feel bad about doing it yourself and it makes you feel bad, I don't understand. I mean, this is just me. This is like my personal opinion on it, but like I don't understand like why it's okay or doesn't make you feel bad if someone else does it. Like it's the same exact thing happening. You're just not the one putting the energy into killing an animal. So like that's literally why I went vegan, because I was like, yeah, I look at this chicken on like my plate, but like I don't know. Someone had to slit that chicken's throat in order for it to get to my plate. And like to me, it's just because I didn't do it, does it make it any less more okay? Or like I don't know. Once you like start to become aware of that, I'm just the type of person I can't separate myself from that. And like I don't know. I'm especially on uh, this is awesome. I really was not expecting this topic on the stream. I don't know what topic you're talking about because sometimes these comments are delayed. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. That's just the way I am about it. So, and obviously, like, there's no ethical, like, 100% like ethical way of living, especially in a system that is built off of, what is it called? Exploiting absolutely everyone and everything, from people to animals to nature to everything. But there's definitely steps you can take to like reduce the amount of bullshit that you're contributing to the problem. Like to me, I know people that are like, well, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, so let me just be a piece of shit. It's like, I mean, you could just not be a piece of shit and do your best, but like doing anything, like, I don't know. I don't know. That's just my whole people argue science like that's even possible. Thank you, Dean. Yeah, people literally try to argue science like, okay, I mean, there's no argument to be made about a fact, It's like you can argue an opinion, but like a fact is a fact. And yeah. Anyway, ever play Punch Out? Punch Out's like that's like an older game, right? For like the NES or SNES. I feel like I've played that game somewhere. That name sounds super familiar, but I can't remember where. How long has this feed been? 95 minutes. Wow. Oh, geez. All right. Ooh. What even brought all of course, band geek equals biology geek. That's so funny. I used to like, science was always the thing that I've enjoyed in school. I don't know. I feel like knowing the explanations to everything and why they happen is a really cool thing. And whenever I get curious about things, I'll just go on the internet and be like looking up like studies and like research papers and stuff for like hours trying to learn. Punk rock or punk cover moose. I started mentioning Mr. Beast planting trees. My bad. No, you're good. Yeah, it was just funny that I was watching something about that literally yesterday, and yeah, it's just one of those things where like I feel like people make effort. I mean, like obviously the effort is good and it's coming from a good place, and it doesn't necessarily like create mass problems by doing something like planting that many trees, but biodiversity is the most important thing that a forest, like the more biodiverse a forest is, the more productive the forest is. Like again, look at the rainforest. Like they say there's thousands, I don't know, like over 12,000 species in like the rainforest or something like that, I want to say. I know it's some really 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 high, really high number of species. I can't remember the exact number, but I mean it's because the biodiversity in that area is so. I'm sorry, that number of diversity is in the millions. I'm thinking of every square mile. There's like 100. Let me see. How many species are in the rainforest? 10 million species. I'm thinking I think every mile is like every square mile is 10,000. How many species in the rainforest per square mile? Square mile has 1,500. That's the number I was thinking of. 1,500 per square mile, and 10 million in the rainforest. But that's because there's so much diversity of like, life, and it's like you can't have that same amount of species based off of just one species of tree. Also, if any disease ever happens, which look up the Great Green Wall, which was China trying to make a giant forest over a lot of it to keep the deserts from the east spreading deeper into China, where there was one disease. So they were planting one crop, or there are like five types of trees, and then a disease happened in one of those trees, and it wiped out millions of trees. So yeah, that's a thing that is real. But like the reason why the rainforest lasts so long is because with the biodiversity, if one species gets a disease, well, guess what? There's like millions of other species of plant that are there to like not get that disease. But like if you have one disease, one plant, and that one disease starts, it'll kill the entire forest and make all those efforts sometimes useless. It'll just waste money and effort and time getting put into regrowing a forest. So yeah, there's a lot to look into. Mr. Beast did that crap for publicity, heart in the right place, but also building his brand. Yeah, that's another thing. People love to do stuff like that just for publicity. And that's why I'm saying it's like when you think about how much space like that many trees, like people see that and like, oh, that's a huge number. And it's like, yeah, but is it though? Like, how many trees exist in the Amazon rainforest? 390 billion trees exist in the Amazon rainforest. So if we do a very simple cross multiplication, all right, let me pull up a calculator. Hold on. My phone's right there. I can't pull up my phone calculator. I'm pretty sure that's less, like the 26 million trees is less than 0.0001% of that many trees in the rainforest alone. The rainforest is only one of many forests on Earth. So like when you're thinking about how much land 20 million trees is, it's not that much, which I talked about earlier in the stream, so I'm not going to go back into that. What's bizarre is that people think we can try to negate climate change without dismantling the ruling economic system, and thus, yeah, people literally. Well, first off, those people who think that we can keep the system we have and negate climate change are people who don't believe in climate change to begin with, and that's a huge part of the problem. And it's like humans have existed on Earth for 90,000 years, and the Earth has been existing with life for millions upon millions of years, and yet the current economic system we have that has been only around for like 200 years at most is destroying the planet that again took all this time to make. And I think it's wild that people can't sit down and think maybe humans can just not have this system that's going to cause our doom in such a short amount of time versus the amount of time that these systems were not in place and humans had been doing super well. And 90,000. Yes, the human species evolved about 90,000 years ago, or so. Now, human society has not been around the way it is now up until, like I want to say like 5,000, 10,000 years ago. It depends. It depends on where you decide to start a society. Like if you're going to start it around like when Mesopotamia and like agriculture became a thing, then yeah, it's like annually about 3.5 to 7 billion trees get cut down. Yes, so that's a lot of trees, and replanting 90,000 equals Homo sapiens. Yes, I should have specified Homo sapiens became a thing. How do you sleep after thinking about all this stuff? Um, you say that like I sleep. If someone could fact check me, that'd be great. Let's see. How many trees get cut down annually? 3.04 billion trees. Nature estimates the planet has 3. There are 3 trillion trees on Earth. Research says 15.3 billion trees are chopped down every year. It also estimates that 46% of the world's trees have been cleared over the past 12,000 years. Wasn't I saying something earlier about the amount of trees that were cut down by humans colonizing over all the course of human history, and how like, I don't know, it's just like when you compare that number to the amount of trees that have been cut down, and then some smart guy tried saying that I was wrong about that, and then I looked it up and it turns out over 3 trillion trees have been cut down over all of human history. Well, that's not true. I'm going to take that last part back. I don't know if it's saying that the planet had 3 trillion trees and 46% of them have been cut down, or if it's saying currently there are 3 trillion trees and 46% is being cut down to the point where now there's 3 trillion. But regardless, that's over a trillion trees have been cut down, regardless which way you look at it. And yeah, I was saying something almost exactly like that. Oh, I'm so petty right now, but like that guy was so wrong. Ooh, all right. You have good skin. Thank you. Is that vegan glow? Let me tell you. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you how much my skin, I mean, my skin was never really that bad to begin with, but when I stopped eating dairy, oh my gosh, it cleared up so much better. Um, Earth is only adjusting to suffocate us slowly. Yeah, that's like a cool thing to think about. I think about like once humans fuck things up and everyone dies, the Earth will recover and the Earth will keep going. And life won't end when humans end. Humans think that when they end, life will end, but that's not true because humans are not the most resilient species on Earth, believe it or not. Um, but I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of suffering and a lot of pain and a lot of species dying that have been existing for millions of years that humans are going to take down with them. And that's the sad part. I like the haircut. Thank you so much. I've had the same barber cutting my hair for 11 years. Skaducation. Have you ever pulled an all-nighter for school? I did once and I fell asleep in the middle of lunch. Yeah, so, I mean, I normally pull all-nighters in general because I'm chaotic. My, what's it called? Mother, that's what the thing I'm thinking about. My mom worked night shifts when she was pregnant with me. Then I learned in school that typically babies develop their sleep patterns based off of whatever their mother was doing when she was pregnant with them. So my mom was working night shifts and she worked from 9 or 10, I believe 10 p.m. to like 4 a.m. Ironically enough, every night at 9 p.m. I get really awake for no reason, despite how tired I am or not. And then around what's that time? 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I start getting tired. So like naturally I'm just always awake at night. It's just the way it is. And I naturally sleep in because that's what my mom used to do when she was pregnant for me. Who are you supporting for the 2020 election / primary? Bernie Sanders. If anyone else besides Bernie gets it, it's, I don't know. A lot of the Democratic Party is kind of just like, yeah, we support corporations. And I'm like, y'all are just better at wording your shitty things. And I'm not saying Bernie is perfect, but like most of the Democratic Party is just kind of trash. And that's just truth. So, um, I'm trying to go keto currently, completely different from going vegan, but I know diets and life choices are hard. I would advise, I'm not telling you what to do, but I would definitely advise going keto because going keto is like extremely bad for you. Like it's very, very bad for you. If you're doing it for weight loss, I am going to give you the warning. Okay, so let's go back, let's talk some more science. So basically, your body uses this thing called sugars to give you energy, right? So one of those sugars, in fact, the main sugar that your body gets energy through is carbohydrates. And when your body breaks down carbohydrates and uses it as energy, that's why you're like working out and you feel good and stuff like that. But once your body runs out of carbohydrates, it then resorts to burning fat. And when it starts burning fat, that's when you produce the byproduct of lactic acid. Now, have you ever been working out before, you're running, whatever, and then suddenly you get sore or you feel that soreness? That soreness is coming from lactic acid, which is the byproduct of fat burning in your body. So now the point of keto basically is if you cut out carbs, which is what your body is supposed to be using as energy, and you use only fats, your body has no option but to burn fat simply by being alive, because your body is always producing energy to do things like, repair your skin, repair bones, repair muscles, do anything. Anything requires two things: water, because the H2O molecule breaks off, and basically whenever your body does any chemical reaction, it uses water to form new molecules. So like if some molecule has to be on the end of that, and normally hydrogen and oxygen are the two that are on the ends of that. So one, your body needs water, and two, your body needs energy, carbohydrates, which then convert into ATP, and ATP is what makes the energy to do anything within the cell molecular level. So that being said, when you're doing keto, you're burning a lot of fat, and yeah, theoretically you will lose weight really fast. But let's go back, like 10,000 years ago when humans were like in the savannah, naked, chilling, hunting for food. They find food, whatever. They find food growing on a tree. They eat it. They find an animal. They kill it, whatever. They eat it. Um, they go 2 weeks. They have no food for 2 weeks. So what the body started doing is like, I don't know the next time I'm getting food. So let me store this food away in our body as this thing called fat, and we'll use that just in case you run out of food. So when you're doing keto, what your body is thinking is, I don't know the next time I'm getting the nutrition I need, like carbohydrates to do basic things. So I'm going to store this fat away. Now, when you're on a keto diet, your body has no fat to store away because you're only giving it enough fat to produce the energy it needs to. So you lose weight. Now, if you ever break keto, it's going to be very hard because once your body starts eating carbohydrates again, your body's going to go, oh, carbs, it's been a minute. I'm never letting go of you because I don't know the next time I'm going to get you. And you're going to gain more weight. Your body, if you're on keto, your body's already producing fat cells. They're just not full. Your body's going to continue producing fat cells. So the moment you break keto, you will gain fat and you won't be able to lose it because your body will be like, no, I'm not letting this go. I don't know the next time I'm getting any carbs in me, so I'm going to hold on to as much fat as I can. So people who do keto, it's good short term for a goal of losing weight. It's terrible for your body long term. It's going to make it way harder for you to lose weight. So that's why I say be careful for doing keto. Not only that, it is just not sustainable. Your body will start to break down and start having problems because it's not designed and it didn't not evolve to only burn fat. So that's what I'm saying about keto. That's my keto rant. I hope you just fill your body with good nutrition, and that's the best way you will be so good. Um, I came, I came at the perfect time to learn. Thanks for the cool facts and info. You're welcome. I love learning things and knowledge. Um, I don't know. I just loved learning. Did you see Joe Biden called that guy fat? Of course he did. I don't know. Joe Biden said a lot. To me, if you take Joe Biden quotes and Trump quotes and just took the name off of them and kept saying, who said this, Trump or Joe Biden? It's kind of hard to tell who said what. And I don't think people think about that. But when you think about Joe Biden like that and then rethink Joe Biden, you're like, I don't want him to be president or anything but dead. Um, Ketosis. Yes, ketosis is the word for that. What got me into ska? Ska was on the Less Than Jake movie, and that was my favorite. Not the Less Than Jake. Less Than Jake was on the Digimon movie, and that was my favorite movie growing up. And when I started listening to music on my own, like in seventh grade, I looked up that movie soundtrack because I loved it, and that's why I found Less Than Jake. Um, LMAO, Burn It, Yes Major. If I wasn't a music major, I definitely would have majored in nutrition and environmental science. I would have been a double major for sure. And the way my life probably would have played out, I would have started a YouTube channel on vegan nutrition and the environment because that's something I'm really passionate about. And I wish that I just didn't have to do things for money. And I probably would have just been very happy learning about the environment and our bodies because those are two things I really love. So whoever asked that question, if you're still watching this stream, someone asked me a question a while ago, like a cool fact nobody knows about you. I really enjoy sciences and learning. So I guess that's a cool fact that people really don't know about me. Um, your tapestry is so cool. Thank you. Both those tapestries are really cool. Um, I believe the Wonder Years one is one of my oldest ones. I definitely got that one a while ago when I saw the Wonder Years in like 2015, 14, something like that. some year like that. It took me a while to see them. I started listening to them in 2009 or 2010. It was before they dropped I'm Not Sad Anymore. You know that record. The Upsides. That's the record. The Digimon movie got me into ska too. LOL, no way, that's nuts. That movie had a great soundtrack. Yeah, people underestimate the power of things like movies and video games and TV shows getting people into music. Like, I'm theorizing that Jeff Rosenstock and also all the other stuff that's being involved with like ska music and alternative music getting on like shows like Craig of the Creek, which is like a pretty successful show on Cartoon Network right now. Jeff is going to have a huge influence on a lot of people growing up and listening to like, alternative and punk music. Like there was an episode of Craig of the Creek, which you have not seen that show. First off, go see that show. It's incredible. It's really funny. It's very well written. I honestly forget that it's a kids show at a lot of times that I'm watching it, even though I love kids shows and that's all I watch. There's an episode where a band called Bad Moves was on that show, and like the premise of the show is they live in like a house with a bunch of their friends, and they have shows at the house, but their neighbor calls the cops and they're like, "Oh, we can't have this show. Where can we have it?" So like these kids help them set up a show and the place that they hang out at all the time, which is like such a cute premise and it's like really cool. But that's how I found out about this band Bad Moves. Like they're a real band and they're actually one of my favorite bands. In fact, I did my Spotify analytics and they came up as the band that I listened to the most this year. So yeah, definitely check out Craig of the Creek and Bad Moves and Jeff Rosenstock doing a lot of good work. Um, Hoping for the fourth wave. All right, I'm gonna go on my mini fourth wave rant. Fourth wave doesn't exist. It won't happen. Anything we'll get that's close to like a fourth wave, I believe, is already happening in Japan. I think there's three things that constitute as a wave, but also one of the things that I'm going to talk about kind of contradicts the idea of waves to begin with. So first off, popularity at a point in which it's just kind of mainstream, quote unquote. And I feel like that's kind of hard to say in a day and age in which culture and entertainment is not streamlined to begin with. Like, 20 years ago, if you watched a show, you had to watch it on TV. You didn't have options. If you wanted to watch cartoons, 40 years ago, you had one option, Saturday mornings. 20 years ago, you had three options, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. Now, if you want to watch cartoons, you can go on YouTube, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu. And the thing about all of this, it's on demand. You choose when to watch it. So that already defeats, like, that's just the culture we're in now because of the internet and streaming. So streamlining entertainment to a mass amount of people just doesn't exist the way it used to. So I feel like that's just going to break down barriers of any music becoming popular the way that it used to. Because, like, 40 years ago, you listened to what's on the radio or you knew people who knew about the alternative underground stuff. Now anyone can go on Spotify and find anything, and I feel like that's a huge thing. The second thing that makes a wave is a distinctive sound. Now, Japanese bands right now have a very distinctive sound, in my opinion, in the ska world. Especially listening to like Aura Ska Band and Tokyo Ska, they managed to make it sound very like hitting home, very ska, but they also have their own twist to it that makes it super interesting. The third thing to me is community. And I think community is super important. And this is where, and I think the later two is definitely where the LA ska core scene holds it down, where they have like the community aspect and they have the unique sound aspect. From what I've been told, the community aspect in Japan is really good with ska right now, and it's also it's much bigger there. I mean, like there's videos. Just look up the J ska or Japanese ska tag on Instagram. You'll see what I mean. There's like videos of them playing to like hundreds of thousands of people over there. So like, it's really, 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 really a lot. But I personally just don't believe in waves because, like, I don't know. I feel like the wave aspect negates like all of the cool things that have happened. Like, while ska was blowing up in America, ska was also big in like a bunch of other countries. And like when the third wave died, it's like people like it just wasn't mainstream anymore. But like we've had so many good bands since 2002 that have formed that are like really good. There's so many incredible ska bands now doing a lot of cool things. There was the whole ska pop punk thing with bands like We're the Union and Kill Lincoln. There was like the ska core thing with like the Flaming Tsunamis and the Best of the Worst. And there were like unique sounds of like ska punk. And I think the problem all of those bands had when they were doing that is they were trying to appeal to like an older generation listening to the bands of the 90s. And that's inevitably what caused them never to blow up the way they did. We're the Union's a prime example because like We're the Union had the ska easy core pop punk sound on the early stuff. And I mean, they were really successful for the time, but like us putting out this new record, we basically stopped going, let's stop trying to appeal to people and let's just do what we want to do and like really focus on building our own scene. And it's been working. We're the Unions had the most successful year that this band has ever had. Our following on all our social medias has over quadrupled in a year. And yeah, so it's just really cool that We Are the Union's been able to grow like that. And I think a lot of it is because of I lost my train of thought, but wow, the stream's almost 2 hours long. It's my longest stream I've ever done. Um, who did Keys Me Nights better, Catch 22 or Streetlight Manifesto? I personally like the Streetlight Manifesto version better, but they're both like really good. So like, it just depends on what you want. But also a scene and shows to go to. That is also very important. But I think that's part of the community aspect. When I'm saying like a community, it's like, there's like a lot of bands that like don't host shows, they don't book, they don't network, and it's like they just exist, and then they get on Warp Tour, or they like just get on a support tour or like whatever, and it's like I don't know, I feel like they lack the substance of like this band grinded and built their way up and made the connection. So like those bands typically don't do well, and like I feel like that's a huge part of like genres and stuff not doing well. They're just so out of touch. That's the word I'm looking for. They're out of touch with like the scene and everything involving with the music. So you should do a theory video on the fourth wave. I mean, there's not really much theory to break down on the fourth wave. It'd just be me saying fourth wave doesn't exist. Don't wait until that video would literally be like 2 sentences. The fourth wave doesn't exist. Don't wait for it to become popular to support the bands. Just support the bands now, and we can pretend it's popular, and then it'll be good. Literally, if everyone who's begged for a fourth wave just stopped and followed all the new bands and went to their shows, all of these bands would be successful enough to tour and then do it full time, and then bam, it'd be great. So like, yeah, I just the fourth wave thing kind of just is really annoying. Um, we Are the Union's getting their second win the past few years. Save the Swim Team deserves a comeback in a second wave. Okay, so if you don't know this, the drummer from Save the Swim Team is now the drummer of We Are the Union. That band's never coming back. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one to tell you, but it's just never coming back. Um, but yeah, We Are the Union's doing really well. Definitely part of it is like me and Brent, the drummer, joining gave new life to the band. Like we all just like as a whole band have like a lot of chemistry together that works really well. Um, Another huge part of it is Reed has been super inspired. Honestly, the Bruce Lee band dropping that record, Everything Will Be Alright, My Friend, single-handedly inspired me and Reed to like write ska music again and like make ska music. So you can definitely thank Mike Park and the Bruce Lee band and Jeff Rosenstock for uh for igniting the fire that is under both Skatune Network and We Are the Union. I strongly feel we're the. Oh, I already read that comment. Do you want to listen to any old ska songs I wrote that somehow made its way to Spotify? It's really bad. That's so funny. What is it under? I probably won't listen now. I'm also probably gonna end this feed in like a minute because I'm getting tired and need food. Such a good work. How far, how far we haven't come was one of the most original. How far we haven't come was one of the most original sounding ska albums I had ever heard. Rip. Oh, it's a Save the Swim Team record. Cheer Up is my favorite ska record. Yo, Cheer Up is definitely Rubik Fish's most underrated record. I love that record. Every horn part that comes, I think my favorite part of that record is there's not a lot of horns on it. It's like every horn part that comes in hits so hard and is so catchy and so well written. Every chorus in that record, for the most part, has such good hooks. Even when it sounds bad and corny, it still sounds like at least like really good. I don't know. I really like Cheer Up. I feel like I wish that was the record that people listen to more of Rubik Fish. I found out recently that's a record a lot of Rubik Fish fans hate, and it's like, really? That's the record? That's the record? Okay, sorry. Um, Cheer Up begs a vinyl. Was Cheer Up never pressed on vinyl? I never even thought about that, but wow, that's so sad. The Average Man, the B side off Cheer Up, is such a good song. That's my favorite Rubik Fish song for sure. I can't believe they took that album off Apple Music. Did they? That's so tragic. Is it still on Spotify? Yes, it is still on Spotify. Cool. That's tragic they took it off Apple Music. I wonder why they took it off Apple Music and not Spotify. Normally the distro is responsible for that stuff getting on all the streaming platforms. So that's kind of weird. Pure Imagination was one of my favorite songs, and your cover was beautiful. Thank you so much. I really like that song. It's such a beautiful song. It was because of copyright. But, like, copyright by who? Like, I don't know. That's so weird. Look up Fast Food by the Happy Nipple Project. Not a joke. We were a band that started as a breast cancer charity project. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's pretty sick that it was a breast cancer charity project. Um, they took it down because of covers. I think they took it down because of the covers. Oh, I forgot that record does have multiple covers on it. Um, but typically, especially because Cheer Up's on a major label, there's like you can like very clear, like very easily get like licensing done to like. I guess it just wasn't making enough revenue for them to justify getting the licensing done because like I said at the beginning of this feed, licensing is fucking expensive. So like it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, there's a few covers on this record, huh? I guess that makes sense. They could have just taken those tracks off too. I know some bands did that. Like it made me sad, but Tokyo Ska Paradise had a song off of Walkin', which was like really good, and they took it off Spotify. But every other song off that record's still on, which I'm like, glad the record is still up. Oh no, yo, sorry, I just got excited. Tokyo Ska just dropped a new record. Yo, Tokyo Ska is one of my favorite ska bands. So like, yeah, I saw that they dropped a single a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I hope there's a record coming out soon. And I just checked, and it's on. Yo, I'm so glad. I'm gonna listen to this record. I'm saving it right. Oh, my library's full, so I have to go delete stuff to then save this record. But yep, that record's still not on that Walkin' record. That's so interesting. All right, cool. All the fans hate that album apparently. We're the only ones listening to it, so they don't care. Um, anyway, I'm gonna end this feed because I'm dying right now. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. 2 hour feed. Wow, I am so tired and so hungry. I'm actually supposed to be going to the movies in an hour. I just remembered that's a thing. So yeah, this feed was kind of used to promote that I'm playing a show with Tip the Van. It's Tip the Van, We Are the Union, Skatune Network. And I'll probably do another feed of me practicing Skatune Network songs. If that's something y'all want to see, let me know. Because I have to relearn all these songs. Sorry I keep hitting the whoa. It's just what I do. But yeah, I will see y'all. I'm copying a link off of this thing real quick. All right, cool. I will see y'all whenever. New video coming on Saturday. It's really good. So peace out, y'all. All right. Oh, God. How do I end this? Do I press that?